Welcome, dear board and fire friends, to a new episode of our coverage of the first day of the FIDE Grand Prix 2022, where Dmitry Andreikin, who plays today with the white pieces, and Richard Rapport, who plays today with the black pieces, qualified for the final. Dmitry started the match with e4. Richard replied with e5, knight f3. Knight f6 for Richard to choose Petrov's defense. Knight c3. Dmitry replies by choosing the variation of the three knights. Knight c6. Now the shape has become symmetrical, like looking in the mirror, which is what happens a lot in Petrov defense matches, and we are always waiting for someone to break that state of symmetry. Dmitry breaks it with the move d4. Pawn captures pawn. Knight captures pawn. Bishop b4. Knight captures knight. The b-pawn captures knight, and I always prefer to take the b-pawn instead of the d-pawn, with any variation and any opening, where you have three pawns in the middle, and it also opens a file, which can be used to attack afterwards. Bishop d3. d5. The presence of three pawns in the middle, as we have previously explained. Now the search engine is suggesting to the white pawn captures pawn, and it is the move that Richard is waiting to occupy the middle and get rid of the problem of having two pawns on the same file. So here Dmitry played bishop d2. Castling. Castling. Bishop captures knight. Bishop captures bishop. Pawn captures pawn. Bishop captures knight, threatening the queen. Queen captures bishop. Bishop captures pawn. Queen captures pawn. Bishop captures pawn, threatening the rook. Richard, with the last two moves, gets rid of the weak pawn, and with the move, rook b8, although it is mandatory, will occupy the open file with it. Rook b1 is offered to Richard to trade. Richard accepts. Queen captures rook. Queen captures queen. Rook captures queen. Rook captures rook. It's only the 16th move, and the two players skip the opening and clashing stages, and enter the end of the match. I have a feeling they will agree to a tie soon. I didn't feel like anyone was looking for a win. They didn't even use up any of their time, as you can see. Dmitry rook d8. Rook is now forbidden to leave the back rank. Bishop f3 to prevent any checkmate from rook. Bishop f5 threatening the pinned pawn. Pawns are now a treasure that does not leave. We present to you the following analysis with the move h4 so that Dmitry gets rid of any danger to the back rank, and it does not matter if he leaves the pawn, as he will return it quickly, as you can see, so that the match will reach a completely neutral position. But Dmitry played rook b7 here directly, not wanting to risk losing a pawn. Bishop captures pawn. Rook captures pawn of the c. Bishop e4 offered a sacrifice not to deceive a beginner. Of course, if bishop captures bishop, rook d8 checkmate. Bishop e2. Richard thought for 6 minutes, then left his menacing pawn and played g5. Dmitry used 36 minutes of his time, and instead of capturing the pawn he played h3, although the search engine preferred capturing the pawn, and we offer you the following analysis. Now the king of Dmitry is safe, and he also has a passable pawn. Here I made sure that Dmitry was satisfied with the draw. a5 escapes with the threatening pawn. Now if rook c5 fork, Richard relies rooks d5, so the search engine suggests f3 with the next analysis that arrives at a neutral position. But Dmitry played here rook 7 threatening pawn. Richard rook a8 defending it. Rook e7 threatening the bishop. Bishop d5 threatening pawn. The logical move here is a4, but Dmitry played bishops f3, pinned the bishop and forcing Richard to trade the bishop. g6 to protect the pawn and in an attempt to activate its king. King g2 is what distinguishes Dmitry's match now. He can activate his king right away, while in doing so he will struggle to occupy Dmitry's 7th rank. Rook c8 trying to activate the rook. Rook a7 attacking the pawn. Rook c5 defending the pawn. Now the rook is more active than it is on square r8. It can't move or it loses its pawn in a sensitive time of the match. f4 is a useless pawn sacrifice, in order to weaken the structure of Richard's pawns. The search engine responded here h5 in order to preserve the structure of his pawns, and also activate them instead of his imprisoned in the 8th rank. but Richard in the match except the pawn was sacrificed. King f3. Dmitry succeeded in activating his king. Rook c3 check. His release has paid off. Now he can launch a counterattack. King g4. Dmitry prefers to defend the terminal pawn, than to recover his pawn, because in the end this pawn is weak. Rook a3. It looks like Richard won another pawn. Dmitry continued to implement his plan and played king f5. Of course he does not seek to checkmate but seeks to force Richard to draw, as his position is starting to deteriorate. Now if Richard plays rook capture f3, Dmitry will take advantage of the situation and play king f3, threatening checkmate. h5. King g3, again threatening to checkmate. King f8. Rook f7 check and 4. Dmitry wins a pawn, protects his pawn and has another pawn to win, and Richard will not be able to develop his passable pawn position, simply because the rook is in front of him. So here Richard played rook captures h3. Dmitry has 3 pawns to capture, but each has a price. If he captures the ace pawn, he will leave the 7th rank. But if f5 is captured, he will lose the attack launched by his king. As for the best moves, king captures f3 and threatens to checkmate, which forces Richard to draw as we can see. But Dmitry played here a4. f6. Now the situation has become dangerous. Now there are ideas like this. So Dmitry does not waste any more time and plays king captures f3, threatening checkmate as we said before, and forcing Richard to draw, as we can see. Perhaps not the best thing, and from the first moves of the match it was made clear to the two players who are cautious, and they are satisfied with the draw today, waiting for tomorrow's match to see if it will be decided by the winner of the tournament, who will play in the Candidates' Championship. In the end, we hope that you have enjoyed and benefited from our analysis. We hope that you support us by clicking on the like button, and that you honor us by joining the channel, and waiting for the rest of our coverage of the tournament.